So do you think I should get a coach? If you're a coach, don't answer that. Actually, if you are a coach, do answer that. I watched a video from Mitch Bowers this week where he recruited Cam Nichols from RCA to be his coach. It kind of got me thinking about the milestones that I've taken from beginner to moderate and which have had the biggest impacts and gains to my cycling ability. And it all led me to wonder, is there a logical point where getting a coach is the natural progression? Let's have a think about it. Oh, and in case anyone was wondering, maybe 2024 is time for a change. I think I'm going to branch out and refresh the wardrobe and try a different brand. It's the Tacker. I went with the Tacker. The first major milestone for me was deciding to cycle. That may seem obvious, but I think there is a difference between riding a bike and cycling. For me, it was the decision point of jumping up from 10 or 20 kilometers in a ride to 30 and beyond. It takes on a new meaning, and you have to be ready for that, and it's a decision you have to make. This pretty quickly led to the next milestone for me, which was buying bib shorts. If you're going to be spending more time in the saddle, riding longer, these are an absolute necessity. Hit that milestone early and hit it good.
That suit's a little revealing, isn't it?
Well, it allows for maximum mobility. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all.
For me, the next milestone was getting a real bike. What I mean is a proper carbon frame road bike. Some of you might have done this as a part of the first milestone. But the reason I don't say it's the first milestone is I don't think it should be a barrier to entry. If you're starting out on a commuter bike or an aluminium frame, really just any bike, it doesn't matter. Getting started is the most important thing. But if you are coming from a bike like this onto your first real bike, you won't know yourself. You'll be faster, it'll be easier, you'll dominate all of your PRs. I went from a Focus Urban Planet, which is a rough and tumble city commuter with a 7-speed belt drive hub gear. Total commuter bike, flat bar, hub gear, it's steel frame, it's like 12.5 kilos, it's super heavy. To a Bianchi Sprint disc, mechanical group set, 11 speed, it's on Ultegra, it's missing a few parts right now. It weighs in around about 8 kilos. It began its life with these are pretty basic Shimano aluminium wheels. A perfect price point for a first serious road bike. Next two milestones are pretty interchangeable in my mind. For me, one pretty rapidly led to the other. The first one is an indoor trainer. For me, it was a Wahoo Kicker Core. This solved an important problem of being able to train in all kinds of weather, but it also introduced the concept of riding to power and being far more aware of your telemetry when you're riding your bike. Do you think improving my ability to ride with no hands will make me a better cyclist? Maybe just a better vlogger. I used to be able to do this as a kid. For some reason, now I can't. My newfound wisdom pretty quickly led me to needing a power meter on my bike. There's a lot of ways you can approach a power meter. For me, I chose Wahoo Speedplay pedals. That's a whole different story for a whole different day. There's definitely no need for you to switch pedal ecosystems to achieve this outcome. But what it meant is it brought the science that I had from my home trainer to when I was out on the road. My next big milestone was a new set of wheels. It's currently got Black Ink 45s on it. Getting a set of carbon rims was massive. I grabbed some Black Ink 45s For me, this was like 20 seconds off every hill climbing PR. They were lighter, they were faster, they changed the dynamics of me on the bike entirely. The next big shift for me was structured training. More than anything, what this means is riding with purpose. Up until this point, I'd kind of just been riding. You go out for a ride, you ride a certain distance. Structured training meant that when I was going out for a ride, there was a reason behind it, or there was a set program, or I was going a set duration. All of a sudden I was training different parts of my abilities rather than just the general base training that I was doing previously. Final big milestone for me was the super bike, or a new bike, or even just a major upgrade to your original bike. I think many of you might tick this off in that first milestone of just getting a bike. But my point here is you're starting to think about what you're riding more. You realize that you might like a change. You realize there's an opportunity to move to something like electric shifting. I went from the Bianchi to the Factor Ostrovam.
Big upgrade from the Bianchi again. In terms of weight, it's only a marginal gain. We're getting down to like 7.8, 7.7 once you take all the bits and bobs off. It is up to 12 speed group set. It is mechanical, it's on Durace. I've got deeper dish wheels on here. Huge kind of performance gains.
But if I had to simplify here, I think getting over to 12 speed electronic shifting will represent a major change and milestone for anyone's riding.
Okay, that brings me to today. And it brings me back to my original question. Should I think about getting a coach? If you've been following my videos, you'll have a fairly good sense of my goals. If you're new to the channel, you can find them here. I'm pretty diligent with structured training, and motivation isn't a major problem, but my training is fairly generic. Could I be getting a more tailored program from a coach? Could I be combining nutrition and this type of information into my training to get further? Could I be learning more about racecraft or event strategy or preparation for those big Fondo days? Ultimately, could I hit my goals faster? I don't think I have these answers. I'm going to have to do some more research. If you have a coach or work with a coach, I'd love to hear about your experience. What could I learn or what could I share with my audience from your experience? Or if you're a coach and you think that you could answer some of these questions, reach out. I'd love to have a chat to you about it. For now, I'm going to keep on keeping on. But maybe this becomes a challenge or an opportunity for me in 2025. Let me tell you a story about this guy. He was travelling from Melbourne. He was on his mountain bike commuter. He didn't really know where he was going. I took the opportunity to give him a bit of a tour of the northern beaches, and as we got chatting, it turns out that he was a boilermaker working on a new building in Sydney. I work for a tech company called Atlassian. I typically don't have a lot in common from a work perspective with boilermakers. My company is building a new building in Sydney. One of the interesting things about this building is it is such a construction dilemma that it needs somebody to build the world's biggest Lazy Susan so that semi-trailers are able to drive in and turn around and deliver the pieces of the building necessary to get it built. This guy is building that Lazy Susan. Small world.
Whoa, that was pretty gnarly. I understand why everybody does it now. Might be better in the morning with less cars though.
Okay folks, I'm desperately trying to get this edit finished to get it up and out to you guys on Sunday. The weather has been absolutely awful today and I'm a little bit worried about what tomorrow's long ride's going to look like. We might be talking about Zwift. As I said during this one, I'm really keen to hear from you all on this one. Really keen to get your perspectives and get a sense of your thoughts on progression, but also coaching. Hit me up in the comments, I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, until next time, see ya!